Hey my friends, I never thought I'd make a video like this, but I feel I have something important to say that might help people out. I don't know, I'm hoping that's the case anyway. So I'm a white man and I have an opinion about the whole Black Lives Matter movement. And here it is. First of all, I want you to know, so that you don't get into an uproar, that I fully realize that if I am an unarmed white man, I am not nearly as likely to get shot as an unarmed black man. That's a statistical fact. An unarmed black man is 5 times more likely to get shot than an unarmed white man. That's fucking bullshit, but that's the realization of our stupid culture right now. I'm not gonna allow anyone to make me feel guilty that I just happen to be white, just because our stupid culture has a problem with race. I fully recognize that racism exists, reverse racism exists, and when anybody tries to drop an equivalence between real racism and reverse racism, it is an absolute false equivalence because the true racism is so much worse. I mean, they're both stupid, but it's so much more dominating over the reverse racism. Now, here's why I believe that the Black Lives Matter message is being miscommunicated as well as being misinterpreted by most people. First of all, 99% of everybody believes that all lives matter. But when we communicate Black Lives Matter, unfortunately, a lot of people hear that as Black lives are superior to everybody else's life. And the people in the Black Lives Matter movement don't even believe they're superior. They're just saying that right now, in today's culture, where if you're an unarmed black man, you're 5 times more likely to be shot up than an unarmed white man, that they're trying to draw attention to that. And likewise, when a lot of people say all lives matter, which is true, all lives really do matter, we want to make sure that we do not ignore the fact that if you're an unarmed black man, you're 5 more times likely to be shot up than an unarmed white man. So when we get all edgy about that, like the Black Lives Matter people, when they hear people say, oh, it's not Black Lives Matter, it's all lives matter. What the Black Lives Matter people are hearing, most of them, is that you're not recognizing that there's a very false equivalence here. That by being white, unfortunately, you're assigned sort of a privilege card because of the color of your skin. I didn't ask for that privilege card. I don't want the privilege card. I think that is a stupid privilege to have based on the color of your skin. But I'm not going to feel guilty that I happen to be white. I'm a white man, and I recognize this very cultural, racial inequality that exists on all sides, but I recognize it's far worse for black people than it is for white people. Far worse right now in our culture. So I think if they change the Black Lives Matter movement, just change the name of it, how it's being communicated. Say, Black Lives Matter too. Black Lives Matter also. I mean, that's perfect. It's grammatically correct. I think it is anyway. I'm not an English major. But it's also communicating that we all matter. White lives matter, all life matters. I mean, it doesn't even matter what color your skin is. But at the same time, we need to recognize that there is a problem. There is a racial inequality, and true racism is much worse than reverse racism. And you're 5 times more likely to be shot up if you're an unarmed black man than you are an unarmed white man. We have to recognize that. And then eventually, I believe it's possible in our culture we can move past all this garbage and look beyond what the eyes can see. But we don't want to look beyond what the eyes can see too soon, because we really do need to recognize there's a problem. If we ignore the fact that you're 5 times more likely to be shot up if you're an unarmed black man versus a white man, then that's probably not going to be corrected, right? I don't even know what we need to do, but I do know that we need to come up with a solution. Maybe the way police officers are trained, maybe the way the media reports stuff, maybe, who knows what it is, I don't know, but there needs to be a solution for it. And if you ignore it, I don't think we're going to solve it. I really don't. And I think more white people and black people alike need to recognize that what we have here, the reason there's so much arguing on both sides of this fence, is because of a communication breakdown. We're basically all believing in the same thing. We have different ways of communicating it. So there's the fighting. Instead of focusing our energies on understanding each other and bridging the communication gaps, Yeah, there's a novel idea. Instead of putting our energy into fighting and telling each other off and bickering and slamming each other, why don't we put all that energy into bridging the communication gap? Because I guarantee you 99% of all of you actually agree on probably just about everything. You just communicate differently, and you're not working on putting your energy towards solving that communication gap. So you fight, you argue, when you're on the same page all along. Everybody agrees that all lives matter. But we need to recognize that there is a racial inequality factor to this, where if you're, and a false equivalence to racial tensions, because if you're an unarmed black man, you're 5 times, I always go back to that, that's like the most shocking statistic to me. In an era where, I mean, we're 40, 50 years or so, about 50 years beyond the civil rights movement, 50 years, and we don't even need the government anymore to do it. We will segregate ourselves. We'll be racial all on our own. It's a cultural problem. I wouldn't even say it's a law problem. It's a culture problem, which is also a justice problem, because the Justice Department is made up of people. And so it's a culture problem. You know, it really is. We don't need government to segregate us or stir up any racial tensions. We do it on our own. We really do. So it is absolutely a culture problem, and we need to communicate better with each other, because I guarantee you 99% of everyone is on the same page. All lives matter, but we have to recognize there's a racial inequality and a racial false equivalence happening at the same time. I mean, if I can be a man of white skin and recognize that I have this stupid white privilege card that I don't even fucking want, then I think others can do it too. It's kind of like, if we can be more like the people that marched for and with Martin Luther King, you know, as blacks and whites all standing up together, holding hands for the same cause. Man, if we can do that over this issue, wow, that would be really cool. But you know what? Martin Luther King was a pretty awesome orator of his day, and a very charismatic leader and a dreamer, and he connected people to that dream. We don't have leaders like that right now that I know of. So maybe that's how we solve this problem, is we have another person who's just as awesome as Martin Luther King, who can connect people to a common dream of all colors. So where is that person? I'd like to find out where that person is. Anyway, gonna end this video now. I just wanted to give you my perspective. I've never heard it put that way before by anybody. I haven't. So this might be new, probably is new for you too. I hope it gives you something to think about, and for Pete's sake, if you disagree with something in my video, I'm not saying this to be right or to be wrong. Don't take offense if there's something in this video that you don't agree with, and don't call me a bigot or a racist or I don't understand. You know what? You're right. I don't understand. I've never suffered racial inequality ever in my life. I don't understand. But I'm not going to feel guilty about it, because that's stupid. I didn't choose what our stupid, dumb culture has bestowed upon me as far as a racial privilege. I didn't ask for it, and I don't want it, and I have no control over our stupid, dumb culture doing that. So you're right. I don't understand, and I admit it. I'm humble enough to admit it. So maybe that's the first step. We all just break down our stupid, dumb egos and quit taking offense to everything. What do you think about that? And we start working on building our communication bridges. All right, that's all for me. My name is Tom Birkenmeier. Feel free to visit my website, tombirkenmeier.com. I usually plug a different one in, but I think my name would be more appropriate for this video, tombirkenmeier.com. So after all, that's me, and these are my opinions and my thoughts, and I hope that we can heal and move past this stupid cultural, racial divide that we've imposed upon ourselves. How dumb are we? But it's time to get smart and wise, and you know what really matters? Love matters. Hashtag love matters. Hashtag we rise by lifting others. Hashtag, yeah, whatever. I had nothing else. Take care, everyone. Feel free to share this video, please.